Hi everybody. Day 14, Tuesday, 19th of May 2020. Just to say, I hope you enjoyed the photographs of the distribution of the food, and also of the village where we have an ongoing ministry for helping people with leprosy. Much of that, of course, the distribution of food was financed by some of you from that first my day one blog where I appeal for money. We're still sending money out there, so if you want to join in with that, you can see that where it goes is a good place for it to be going. So I'd really be happy for you to to send as much as you want. Really, we'll do something good with it. Okay, thanks. Just want to, and then also in India at this moment in time, in the city where that's all happening, around Balasore, in on the eastern coast, near the Bay of Bengal, there's a cyclone coming in, and it's due to hit land tomorrow in the area where that city is. So they're all battening down the hatches and praying like mad that it will lose its power before it gets there. 150 miles an hour winds at the moment. So please keep them in your prayers, if you will. Just very quickly, I want to put another piece of the worldview in place. There's two more pieces, I think, before I finally get to that, to talk about the cross. And this is to do with the progression from Genesis chapters 1, 2 and 3, where I've said up to Abraham. In chapter 3 in Genesis, we see Adam and Eve making the wrong choice. In chapter 4, we see the first murder. In chapter 5, we see Adam and Eve have more children. This is where the children of the world come from. So Adam and Eve have loads of children who marry and have loads of children. Then Genesis 6 to 9 is the story of Noah's Ark, where God's so fed up with them all, he judges them and sends the flood. But saves some. So that you and I are from Noah's family line, as well as from Adam and Eve's family line. Then there's a story in chapter 11 about the Tower of Babel, and that's where the Bible says the different languages came from. Once again, it's the dispersion of people because they're getting too clever because they're all speaking the same language. Bit worrying today because we're all speaking English, aren't we, all over the world, and we're getting very, very clever. So, not sure what that means. But we talk about Abraham today because I want to talk about Abraham because this is, if you're in a sense, the modern place where God has re-engaged personally with humankind again to enter, to give us promises that he's not abandoned us, to enter into. This is what he does with Abraham. He gives Abraham a promise that he will bless him and that he will bless all nations through Abraham. Part of that promise was that he would give his offspring in later years the land of Canaan, the promised land, where they would go to when they came out of Egypt. So God gives him that promise, and then as time goes by for Abraham, he encourages Abraham to believe for more, and that he covenants with him for these blessings. He covenants with him for these blessings, and at that time, the sign of the covenant is a circumcision. So all the boys are circumcised. If you know enough to know, that's a bit. The Muslims claim one of Abraham's children, who was called Ishmael, as one of their descendants, and he was circumcised by Abraham. So I guess that's where the Muslims get their practice of circumcising their boys from. And then on top of all that, the promise, God gives you a promise. Why would he break a promise? He's God, you know what I mean? And he covenants, so that's really strong. And then also he swears that he will be faithful to this promise and to these covenants. So that's so that it, if you want, you don't need to worry. God is not going to break his promise. He's not going to break his his covenants. He's not going to draw back from the oath that he has sworn to bless us. Maybe I'll read you that oath, just so you can see how strong it is. It's in Genesis chapter 22, and it says this: "The angel of the Lord came to Abraham from heaven a second time and said, I swear by myself, declares the Lord, that because you have done this and have not withheld your son, your only son, I will surely bless you and make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as the sand on the seashore. Your descendants will take possession of the cities of their enemies, and through your offspring, all nations on earth will be blessed, because you have obeyed me. I promise we might. One of my favourite people of this kind of generation is Albert Einstein. I love to puzzle about the things he puzzled about. I'm just trying to catch up, just catch the idea. But I love people taking things to bits and having a look at it. And Albert Einstein, I think they said that he said that he pursued these answers, believing that the world was not haphazard, but it had been created. There's, and they tell me that it's all to do with maths. It's all to do with maths. So the handprint of the Creator is very, very much in the design and construction of this universe. That I am saying today that he has reaffirmed his commitment in Abraham to be a blessing to the nations. Thank you.